Let's hear it for the captain. Like I said, Captain Mike loves to play the Calliope. He dreams one day to play at Carnegie Hall. Only problem is we'll have to figure out how to get the boat in there. Now folks, we're going to get turned around here in just a minute once we go back underneath the Ojati Bridge one last time, and we'll start heading back to our dock. So sadly our time together is coming to an end. But before I get off here, I do have time for one more quick little story for you. Now back in the old days, the golden age of riverboats, back in the 1860s, riverboats were the best way to travel. Sure, they were slow, but they were comfortable. You got to have food, entertainment, meet nice and interesting people from all over the country, sometimes even all over the world. And it sure beat the dirt and dust and bad smells from riding behind a horse. Now, who were the kings of the riverboats back then? Well, it was the riverboat pilots. Riverboats had captains as well. The captains generally owned the vessel, but the pilots were the ones responsible for bringing that boat safely up or down a river. Each riverboat pilot was supposed to know that river that they worked on so well that they could navigate the boat around the hazards, the rocks, and the sandbars. One such riverboat pilot, his name was Samuel Clemens. Now, Samuel Clemens spent 2 years memorizing 2,000 miles of the Mississippi River before getting his pilot's license in 1858. If Samuel Clemens was going to come into drive by a town on the river like Chattanooga but not stop, he would often let out one long blast of the ship's whistle, just to say hello to the townfolk as the boat went on by. But if he was actually going to pull into that town and stop, make a landing as we call it, he would let out his very own personal landing call on the whistle. This would let everybody in town know who it was coming into town. And if you were expecting somebody or some item on that particular boat, you would know it was time to head on down the docks and pick up that person or that item. As we get turned around here, I'll see if the captain will demonstrate that landing whistle for you. It'll take just a couple more moments. So in the meantime, folks, thank you all so much for coming out with us today. We know you had other things you could have done with your time here in town, and we appreciate that you came out to the river and rode this cruise with us, braved the cooler weather. Now, we generally run these sort of cruises from the first day of April all the way through the second week or so of November. We often have breakfast cruises, lunch and sightseeing cruises. In the evenings, we usually have a 7 to 9 o'clock dinner, or usually a dinner, but sometimes a sunset cruise. And in the fall, we offer a special fall foliage sightseeing cruise. It's a 3-hour cruise down into the Tennessee River Gorge. So we hope you come back and ride with us again sometime.